the DG of National Biosafety Management Agency, Dr. Rufus Ebegba, the project manager, Next Generation Cassava, Professor Chiedozie Egesi, the principal investigator, PBR Kaupi, Professor Shaku, project manager, Telemaze AATF, Dr. Sylvester Oike, president of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, Architect Kabiru Ibrahim. All of that protocols, of course, Rose Gidado, the hostess, and Alex Abutu, moderator, members of the press present, ladies and gentlemen. Mine is just brief opening remarks. We had an extensive discussion yesterday, which lasted for over 3 hours. And I think at that meeting, a lot was actually discussed, and I made a comprehensive presentation of what we are doing and what we have done. So I'll just talk briefly. I'm sure Rose can also make those presentations, that of yesterday, and some before then, available to our editors, our eminent editors here present for this meeting. But I'll just make a few other comments. One is to look at, since the focus is on agricultural biotechnology research in Nigeria, I'll mention a few additional research activities that we have been trying to address. The first one is long shelf life tomatoes. You know, in this country, most of the tomatoes consumed in this country now are produced around Kanu, Katsina, down to Gombe, Gombe axis. And from these areas, that is northeast, northwest, and some parts of central Nigeria, from here they are moved to Lagos, usually in baskets. And by the time they get there, you find that there is substantial loss of between 30, 35, or even 45% loss of these tomatoes. And if there's breakdown, the loss could even be much more than 35, 40%. So we are trying to address this by the development of long shelf life tomatoes that can withstand the stress of movement from the north to the south, mostly Lagos, Enugu, and Port Harcourt, where they are massively consumed. So we are looking at long shelf life tomatoes, and our scientists are already working in the lab, collecting germplasms from all over the country so as to be able to isolate those we can use for this purpose. Now, the next one we're working on is herbicide-tolerant soybeans. We are working on this in partnership with, I think, the University of Mississippi, of Michigan State University in the US.
Yeah, Michigan
State University in the US. We are looking at herbicide-tolerant soybeans. We have done a sample, and we're now trying to multiply them. They sent us about 50 seeds, but we're now trying to multiply them and then do field trials, eventually for onward transfer to our farmers. Retrogression also. And then we also have our MCC facility. That is Microbial Culture Collection. This is based in the University of Port Harcourt. And this center is for archiving of Nigeria's microbial heritage for medical, environmental, and industrial applications. This is a very important facility. We've been on it for quite some time. We've had challenges in setting up that facility, but we know that it's very important for this country. Because most people who have done extensive research know that most of the microorganisms we come across when we do our PhDs, master's degree programs. A good number of them in this country are lost. I never can. After many years, are lost totally and completely. And so we think this facility will be important, so we can archive and domicile some of these important microorganisms in those facilities. It's located at the University of Port Harcourt, and we are interested in that project. We also have a sperm bank in NABDA. NABDA is a national headquarters, the national center for sperm bank. The location of the national sperm bank for livestock in this country. And we have this project is in partnership and conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Agric and Rural Development, who have invested quite heavily in helping us set up and support this center. They brought in deep freezers and so on, and other equipment for that center. And already many groups like the Army and some other private companies involved in livestock, animal husbandry, have all shown interest in this. And it's one of the research areas we are interested in now strongly, because we need to reduce these header farmer clashes. We need to be able to support and encourage people to domesticate and do ranching. And this is one technology that will assist in that, because we can bring in elite sperms and then use to produce livestock, which of course are not so the elite sperms we bring in will surely not be amenable to the rigors of having to travel long distances and so on, because they are usually for improved, both improved milk and improved meat production. So that center is very also dear to us. We have a trained vet person is there, and then animal scientists. Animal scientists are also in that unit. Now, I'm sure we've already talked about our RNA suite, which is a diagnostic kit that I'm sure most of you have heard about, and I talked at length about it yesterday. It's a diagnostic kit that cuts down the price of the diagnosis for COVID-19 from about 50,000 or more to 10,000 or even less. There's been massive interest in this project, and we are actually carrying out this project in partnership with the University of Sheffield, where a young Nigerian actually developed this technology. But it was validated by our scientists here in NABDA, and also validated by scientists at NCDC and NIMA. And NCDC finally gave full approval for its use in this country. And the Honorable Minister of Agriculture has very kindly informed us yesterday that the target is to test 5 million farmers within the next 3 to 4 months. That means the country can now massively ramp up testing of farmers in different parts of the country. And of course, that will mean that it will be easier also to start leveling of infection, COVID-19 infection in the country, and if possible, start also bringing down the infection rate, because it means that a much more larger, massive number of people can now be tested, and that will mean that many more infected persons will be identified and then isolated and treated as the case may be. You know, this thing with the testing of farmers is particularly important because, you know, food, oranges, mangoes, lettuce, all those things you can consume at times. Our people usually eat without even washing in some cases. These foods in particular, it's important that those who handle them are tested regularly and properly, so that as soon as any of them becomes infected, the person is isolated and treated. Otherwise, you could find a situation where somebody, a handler of these items, who handles them, and it gets straight to the markets, and somebody consumes directly from there without washing properly. And this is why this is important. Finally, in order not to take up too much of your time, because I know I could start, we continue talking for a long time, is our vaccine research, our vaccine project. We have a very, very strong vaccine development program. It's been on for quite some time. In fact, NAFDA is the only agency in the whole country that has research and development into vaccines as part of its budget. We have been on this. We know funding has always been a challenge, but irrespective, a lot has been achieved. And the good news now is that we have partners, very, very strong partners who want to work with us, partner with us. Not only the Cubans, but some other partners are also willing to partner with us to see that we start developing and producing vaccines locally here in Nigeria. I think that we can consider this as one of the benefits of COVID-19, because COVID-19 for the first time has opened the eyes of the world, and even the first world persons who used to think that they're totally not vulnerable have found how vulnerable man can be. And that if third world persons, countries are also empowered to be able to produce vaccines, to produce proper diagnostic kits, then they will be in a better capacity to intervene and stop something like the present pandemic from spreading so widely and then all over Africa. And started from India and started from China and moved to Europe, from Europe to US, now Brazil, and it's devastating, causing havoc all over the place. So we are that very, very seriously, and in the next few weeks, months, I think we'll unfold our partnership and our plan to develop vaccines locally, especially COVID-19 vaccines locally here in Nigeria. So I think I will stop at that point, ladies and gentlemen, to give our eminent professors, other eminent professors, a chance to thank you. As I said, I've tried to focus mainly on yesterday, more Rose Gidado, and I think Alex Abutu, you were there yesterday also, and Alex Abutu, the moderator of this program.
It was the day before yesterday.
Okay, day before yesterday, sorry. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof, for the detailed remarks.